Grady Demond Wilson, born on October 13, 1946, and passing peacefully on January 30, 2026, lived a life defined not just by fame, but by purpose, perseverance, and faith. To millions, he will always be remembered as Lamont Sanford, the steady and thoughtful son on the beloved NBC sitcom Sanford and Son, which aired from 1972 to 1977. Yet reducing Wilson's life to a single role would miss the fuller picture of who he truly was. He was an actor, author, soldier, pastor, husband, and father, whose journey carried both laughter and deep reflection. Over decades of work across television, film, writing, and ministry, he built a comfortable life, but he never measured success by wealth or applause. His greatest legacy lived in his character, his convictions, and the quiet integrity with which he chose to live long after the cameras stopped rolling. Roots in Georgia and a childhood shaped by art. Although Grady Demond Wilson was born in Valdosta, Georgia, his future took shape in New York City after his family relocated during his early childhood. The city's creative energy left a lasting imprint on him, awakening a love for performance at an unusually young age. By the age of 4, Wilson had already appeared on a Broadway stage, a rare beginning that hinted at the path ahead. He trained in tap dance and ballet, learning discipline, timing, and emotional expression before most children understood what performance meant. At just 12 years old, he danced at Harlem's Apollo Theater, a historic venue that symbolized excellence and opportunity within Black entertainment. Standing on that stage, Wilson felt a quiet sense of belonging, as though the arts were not simply something he did, but something he was meant to carry with him throughout his life. Faith, fragility, and a promise that never faded. Faith played a central role in Wilson's upbringing and would continue to guide him throughout his life. Raised Catholic, he served as an altar boy and once considered becoming a priest, drawn to the idea of spiritual service. Summers spent with his Pentecostal grandmother introduced him to a different expression of faith, one rooted in passion and personal testimony. At the age of 13, his life took a dramatic turn when his appendix ruptured, bringing him frighteningly close to death. The experience left him shaken and deeply reflective. In that vulnerable moment, Wilson made a quiet promise to God that if his life were spared, he would one day serve in a meaningful way. Although fame and success came first, that promise remained in his heart, patiently waiting for the right moment to be fulfilled. Service, sacrifice, and the weight of survival. Between 1966 and 1968, Wilson served in the United States Army with the 4th Infantry Division during the Vietnam War, an experience that would permanently shape him. Combat exposed him to fear, loss, and hardship far removed from the stages and studios he once knew. He was wounded during his service, returning home with both visible and invisible scars. Those years carried emotional weight that followed him long after his uniform was folded away. Yet the discipline and resilience forged during that time became part of his foundation. When he returned to civilian life, Wilson turned once again to the arts, using performance as a way to process what words alone could not express. Appearing in Broadway and off-Broadway productions, he found a form of healing through storytelling, transforming personal pain into something meaningful and shared. Finding his footing on screen. Wilson's transition from stage to screen happened gradually, built on patience rather than overnight success. He earned guest roles on respected television series such as Mission Impossible and All in the Family, leaving strong impressions even in brief appearances. His calm presence and emotional restraint made him stand out, signaling depth beyond surface-level performance. He also appeared in films during the early 1970s, gaining valuable experience in front of the camera. Each role sharpened his craft and prepared him for the opportunity that would change his life. When casting began for Sanford and Son, Wilson was ready in ways he could not have predicted. Years of discipline, survival, and self-discovery came together just in time for a role that would place him at the center of American television and introduce him to a nation that would never forget his face, becoming Lamont Sanford, and a cultural icon. In 1971, Wilson was cast as Lamont Sanford, a role that would define his public identity for generations. As the patient and principled son of Red Fox's unforgettable Fred Sanford, Wilson provided the emotional anchor of the series. His chemistry with Fox was effortless, blending sharp humor with genuine affection that audiences instantly recognized. While Fred Sanford dominated scenes with loud schemes and exaggerated antics, Lamont grounded the show with warmth, restraint, and quiet strength. Together, they created a dynamic that felt real, familiar, and deeply human. Sanford and Son quickly became one of the highest-rated sitcoms of its era, reaching millions of viewers each week. Wilson's performance helped turn the show into more than comedy. It became a cultural touchstone that reflected family bonds, generational tension, and enduring love beneath the laughter. Carrying the weight and choosing forgiveness. During the height of the show's success, Wilson faced one of the most difficult moments of his career when Red Fox temporarily left the series due to contractual disputes. Suddenly, Wilson found himself carrying the show's emotional weight, a responsibility he accepted with professionalism and grace. Although Fox eventually returned, the experience left lasting emotional impact. Wilson later shared that his deepest hurt came not from the situation itself, but from learning about it indirectly rather than through honest conversation. Still, he chose understanding over resentment. He continued to speak respectfully of Fox, acknowledging the bond they shared on screen and beyond it. That choice reflected Wilson's character, revealing a man who valued relationships over pride. Even in moments of disappointment, he remained committed to grace, a quality that would increasingly define his life in the years ahead. New roles, writing, and a deeper calling. After Sanford and Son ended in 1977, Wilson continued working steadily, determined to grow beyond a single role. He starred in Baby I'm Back and later took on Oscar Madison in The New Odd Couple, demonstrating range and adaptability. Film roles followed over the years, allowing him to explore different forms of storytelling. As time passed, Wilson also discovered a powerful voice as an author. His writing reflected his spiritual journey, encouraging readers to think carefully about faith, purpose, and discernment in modern life. In 2009, he published Second Banana, a candid memoir that offered an honest look at his career, his relationship with fame, and the realities behind a groundbreaking sitcom. The book balanced gratitude with reflection, honoring the show's legacy while telling the truth of the man behind the character. Ministry, family, and an enduring legacy. In 1984, Wilson fulfilled the promise he made as a boy by becoming an ordained minister, placing faith at the center of his life. Ministry was not a side pursuit, but a calling he embraced fully through preaching, teaching, and faith-based projects. Family remained equally important. Married to model Cicely Johnston since 1974, he was a devoted husband and father to 6 children, grounding himself in love beyond public recognition. When Wilson passed away at his home in Palm Springs from cancer-related complications, he left behind more than a celebrated career. He left an example of courage, humility, and intentional living. Though audiences will forever remember Lamont Sanford, those who truly knew his story remember a man who chose meaning over spotlight, faith over ego, and authenticity over applause.